Phenomena. 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 No, you're supposed to stop after the last phenomena. No. Hey, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? It's Andy.
And Sean.
With Into the Vapor Reviews.
Today we're going to take a break from the beginner kits, juice reviews, and all that. And we're going to talk about something that not only is requested, but something that I feel very strongly about. And we're going to try to keep it as organized as possible, but it's not the easiest thing considering what we're reviewing. Today we're going to be doing the Zenesis 2 system. I suppose the best place to start with this would be a little bit of backstory on the Zenesis 2 system as a whole. Yep. So the Zenesis 2 system started with the Sidewinder, which doesn't have a switch on it right now. This is the Sidewinder.
And there will be a close-up picture probably right about now. And we're back.
So, Zenesis 2 starts with the Sidewinder. What the Zenesis 2 system is it's a thread spec for a hybrid system. Mm-hmm. So, instead of, I got to go and buy 5 or 6 hybrids, or I got to go and buy every hybrid that comes out, or, this is interesting, I got to buy this. You buy one part of the system, and then you can upgrade piece by piece by piece, and it all screws on together. So there's a Cardo tank, there's a Genesis atomizer, there's Cardo. 2 Genesis atomizers, there's a 510 cap, there's a switch, and there's 4 different tube configurations, from the Sidewinder 18350 up to 18650. Thank you.
Yep.
What's nice about this is that it is something that hasn't really been done before, because 510 connectors, if you all know, were popularized when
the stick batteries came out.
Exactly, when the Siga-like batteries were popular. And in all that time, we've gotten into big battery mods, we've gotten into all this much larger thing, these much larger mods, but we're still using that same 510 connector. And it's weak, it doesn't support things very well, and the Zenesis 2 system and thread spec kind of aims to change that.
It's all based off of a connector somewhat looking like this. I took some pictures of it close up, and you'll see it, the Z2 threading, and then there's a gold-plated contact screw, which it screws directly into the mod, directly coming in contact with the battery, instead of having the inherently flawed 510 connector between your device, between your atomizer and your battery, and it's straight from the atomizer to the battery.
Exactly, and that includes Genesis atomizers, where the post comes the whole way up through. The Cardo tank takes any non-flange 510, and there's some trickery in there to make it taste like something different. And just your standard 510 cap, which I have, and I happen to have a K-Fun light on here. Just kind of demoing all the pieces that I have, and I think I have everything but the 18490 battery for this system currently.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about this. All right, so as a whole,
fanboy.
You are a fanboy. So as a whole, the Zenesis 2 system is Zen's attempt to revolutionize the vaping mod industry, I want to say.
And the man takes a lot of flack.
Mm-hmm.
He does. And his mods are quirky.
Yes.
And I'll get into that as we cover each individual mod, and I'll get into the quirks on that. Yeah. But his mods are definitely quirky. But
they're available to everybody.
They're going to be available because he wants them to be available. It's not going to be a serial number on a rare unit. It's not going to be like an iHybrid where you only have one shot to get one of 75 in the finish that you want. Mm-hmm. There are special editions, there are collector's editions, but for the most part, the standard is available to everyone. It will hopefully be easy to obtain in some time. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that the man is doing, and I give the man serious credit for this, I am huge on buying into innovation.
Yes.
I love innovation. I would much rather have something innovative than I would something numbered and limited edition. What he's doing is innovative. He's taking a hybrid and making it with interchangeable parts. He took a Cardo and he improved it, and I'll get into that later. He took the standard tube mod and he made this, which is just completely different than what anybody thought they were going to see. So he's taking these things and he's changing them and he's making them his own and he's making them innovative and he's making them just, in my opinion, he's really taking steps forward to better vaping as a whole and to better the big mod community.
Yeah, you touched on something, the whole serial number device. Right now, mechanical mods, the top of the line typically have a number. They're numbered, they're 1 to who knows how many. And there's a huge drive to buy these devices, which drives up cost. The majority of the time, these devices cost anywhere from $150 up to like $300.
Some go for more.
Yeah.
There was some cheese going for a few $1,000s.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is because of the limited quantities of these high-end quality devices, people gobble them up and then attempt to either use them, they buy them for themselves, or they want to flip them, and they flip them for obscene amounts of money because there's only 400 of them out in existence. And that's the thing that Zen wanted to get away from. He wanted to have everyone have a nice quality high-end device if they wanted it. They didn't have to go out and
something not made in China.
Something not made in China.
Made from quality materials.
They didn't have to spend 3 times the original asking price for a device. I mean, yes, the Zen 1 was like that because it was made in such limited quantities, but the Zen 2 system was designed to eliminate that. Buy 4 of them on launch day for $200 a piece and then resell them on the classifieds for $600 a piece.
He wants people to be able to own what he's putting out.
Yeah.
And what he's putting out may have its quirks, but it's quality materials. His mods are surgical grade stainless steel. All of them now have gold plated contacts. So it really is quality materials, and there's some innovation there, and we'll kind of get into some of the innovation. So let's kind of do a breakdown by mod here.
Okay, let's start with the Sidewinder.
Start with the Sidewinder, because the Sidewinder was the one that started it all, and I'm gonna put it the way that I got it, which was as a 510. I received my Sidewinder as a 510 shortly before the Zenesis 2 system came out. And you're kind of going to get a little demo here of the hot swappability of the system. I take the button off my 18350 battery. I screw the switch. I screw the switch onto my Sidewinder. And I take the 510 connector with my Addy on it, and I screw it onto my Sidewinder. And there you have it. Now, the Sidewinder in and of itself is not without its quirks. On launch day, there were a lot of problems. It was rushed. There were some pieces that weren't put together. There was a quick fix made up. Zen didn't have a chance to talk to everybody, and there was a lot of anger and frustration because everybody wanted this thing because of the way it looks, and it's great, and it's pocket-sized, and I love it. But everybody wanted it, but it didn't have the parts. It was a little rushed. Not necessarily the best move business-wise, in my opinion, but it happens. Everybody has their faults. Everybody makes their mistakes. So I bought the 510 version because, 1, I wanted the 510 cap for when the Zen 2 system comes out. 2, I wanted the Sidewinder body style for things like the Cardo hybrid or the Cardo tank, which we'll get into that in a little bit. So, another thing about the Sidewinder, another bad thing about the Sidewinder. When it comes, it's terrible. It doesn't fire very well. The voltage drop on it's nuts. And that's all in part to the screws that were used for the conductivity material. The 2 bottom screws here and here, as well as the spring and the button. I believe they were all stainless steel, but I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that. So I found the screw sizes, went to the hardware store, I spent $5 in 10 minutes, and I changed it out. Now it works like a dream.
Yeah, I remember we ended up finding the screws at I think it was a True Value Hardware, because the big box stores like Lowe's and Home Depot didn't have screws short enough to fit. They were all quarter-inch long.
And if anybody is interested in the Sidewinder but worried about the screws, I will post the screw thread sizes in the comment section for both US and Europe, because I have them. So I will post them for everybody. That way, if you're having this problem or if you're thinking about it, Honestly, for an extra $5, it's worth it because there's just not another mod out like this right now.
Okay, so we talked about the Sidewinder. We could talk about what Zen developed, which initially was his bread and butter, was the Z-atty, the Zenesis atomizer, the Genesis style atomizer. He did a quick build just to get it running before we did the other review because he doesn't.
Sorry, my coil's terrible.
I have probably a picture that we're gonna put up here for it, but the Z-atty, the new Z-atty with the
Cardo hybrid, please.
Hold on 1 second. Let me put the cap on. Jeez, oh Pete's. And then the Z-atty came out originally with the Zenesis 1, and then that's the whole.
Well, I gave you a battery. Just give me the whole thing.
I'm just gonna give you that.
I need the kick.
God damn it. Okay. All right. So the Z-atty came out, and it's I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you know what the Zenesis lines are. The Zenesis the Z-atty Genesis style atomizer looks like, what it does, what a Genesis style atomizer is.
The Zen 2 Z-atty was updated.
Yeah, it has gold plated contacts.
It has a much tighter top cap because one of the biggest complaints was if you held it like this, the top cap came right out. It has a much tighter top cap, about the same draw.
Oh yeah, it's the 350 better
You gotta
too.
push it hard.
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Let's go down. I just have big old hands. I can't get the pinky down there far enough to get it pushed.
So, since that's on the 352, let's talk about a problem with the 352. And I know it sounds like I'm talking about a lot of problems, but honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, in my personal opinion, and this is my personal opinion, all these problems don't make me dislike the devices at all.
All right, so I'm going to say the first problem that everybody who knows anything about Zen products, and their biggest complaint is this. The battery rattle.
There's up and down battery rattle.
Yeah.
In all of the new mods. Now, that's there for a reason. That's a design decision. It's there to stop arcing. So that the device doesn't touch any contact when it's sitting up.
The battery.
The battery doesn't touch any contact, therefore it's less likely to discharge at all. It's less likely to ruin the contacts faster. Contact-wise, why gold? Why not silver? Why not, something that conducts a little better? I mean, gold conducts well, but silver conducts better, and I think pretty much most people in the mechanical world know that. Silver tarnishes, and Zen wanted to give everybody something that didn't require a lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance, and gold contacts work very well as well. It's just a lot less upkeep on a gold contact device. So you have the battery rattle. There's a reason. But you can solve it if you want. If you want to solve it, 2 O-rings or one larger O-ring up underneath the button solves the battery rattle. Tightens everything down. But even with the rattle, it fires every time.
Yeah.
No problem. I have not yet had a problem with it firing. So, that aside, some of the general features of the Z-atty. The screw position and the top cap position are very close to each other, and that helps to create a cyclone effect through the atomizer.
Through the airspace above the atomizer, yes.
The air hole's huge, so the draw is very, very, very open. That's not for everybody, and that's understandable, because you can't, it's not like you can make an air hole smaller. You can drill one out, but you can't make it smaller. But it is a very open draw, and that's something to be mindful of coming in. That you're going to get a very open draw. That's just the way these atomizers are built. They're built to produce a lot of vapor.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get into what made me interested in the whole system in the first place, and that's the Cardo hybrid.
Picture probably up on the screen now.
And picture on the screen at some point, probably now.
Yeah.
So, the Cardo hybrid. I don't know if any of you use Cardos. Anybody who's used Cardos know that Cardos have a taste. Some people like them, some people don't.
Yeah.
I like Cardo taste. It doesn't bother me. I know he likes Cardo taste.
The Cardo taste, I feel, is one of the more pure flavors other than dripping. But there's that.
But the Zenesis Cardo tank removes the Cardo taste.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of people that I've been to meets with and been at meets with have tried the Zenesis Cardo tank, and they dead set hate Cardos, but they like this Cardo tank. It's not bad. They don't get the Cardo taste.
And that was all thanks to Zenesis, Zen's innovative Cardo. Well, I want to call this a Cardo locking hub.
It's a lock / bottom. Well,
yeah, and
it's basically the piece that converts the Cardo into the Z2 thread.
Yeah,
spec.
so it's this little guy, and there's some witchcraft magicness in these air holes that he's drilled into these two.
There are 4 air holes drilled into this Cardo, and let me see. I don't know how well this will translate on camera, but I'm gonna try. If you watch, you should see an X from the 4 air holes that are drilled in this Cardo. So, because there's no juice anywhere near the bottom, because the Cardo goes in and screws down
Into the base, yeah.
into the base, you're drawing in air from the bottom, and it's coming up through the Cardo, and that in some way, shape, or form, I guess there was a lot of engineering involved, which doesn't surprise me one bit,
Yeah.
drastically changes the taste of a Cardo.
Yeah.
I personally kick this device because I don't think 2 ohms is enough. Or I don't think 4.2 volts on 2 ohms is enough. So I kick this device. I have a kick clone. It works great. Fits well in
Stomp.
the tube. The Sigelis Stomp.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so in addition to the Cardo tank, and what also was brought out with the Zenesis 2 line was a plethora of the interchangeable device, the
Body tubes.
bottom tubes. So we
the
have
350, the 650,
and we don't have
490 tube, which
some,
I don't have.
Yeah.
And then there's the Sidewinder. And the Sidewinder is actually going to start selling as a Cardo tank version of the Sidewinder. One of the main reasons why I bought the Sidewinder was for the Cardo tank. Because you can take out a Delrin spacer in here and get a little adjustment screw, throw a kick in, put the Cardo tank in, and it actually looks quite good, if I do say so myself. And it's not a terrible vape otherwise.
Was it the Zen 2 system that brought the etched buttons, or was it the printed
etch buttons? He also switched everything from laser engraving to actually etching out the buttons,
Yeah.
which it's just kind of the next logical step up in the quality line. So here we have the Sidewinder with the Zenesis 2 Cardo. Not at all a bad vape by itself. I prefer it kicked, but, you know, it's not a bad vape.
So yeah, I mean, like, it gives you discrete stealth vapability.
Very discreet, if you can see this right here.
Yeah. And then, you can go your big batteries with kicks. Which there's a kick in there.
Well, you can put a kick in this too with the electronics port, because this side also functions as an electronics port. This side is the battery tube. So,
yeah, okay. We'll talk about the quirks now, or because it's.
well, we kind of covered a lot of the quirks: the battery rattle,
Yeah.
the for the 18350 tube, for the button of fire, you need an extra washer. That's kind of a quirk.
Yeah.
I would call that a quirk. So there's quirks. There's things that don't quite work the way that you expect them to with the money that you have.
Yeah.
But honestly, when you get them working, when you spend $1, $5, and they work well, they work great. And they're different, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
And to make things even more exciting, Zen is going to open source his thread spec.
Yes.
I know Steam Monkey is working on what he calls his Link system, which is going to be 3 more body tubes in brass with the Steam Monkey logo. His own switch, which currently the only part of the system that you can't buy individually from Electronixtics is the switch. So he's going to make his own switch, his own 510 connector, and he's making a Z2 threaded
Dripping atomizer.
Yes.
Or DA, man.
So you'll have a Cardo, you'll have a Genesis style, you'll have a dripping atomizer, and you have a 510.
And because it's open source, who knows what you might have in a year or so.
There's talks of DNA 20 Z2 mods. There's talks of a lot of things happening with Z2 mods in the near future. I definitely feel if it's not something that you're sold on now, I definitely feel it's something worth watching out for. I'm an early adopter. I am with anything that I find innovative that I like. I know that quirks are going to come along with that.
Yep.
I know that it's not always necessarily going to work exactly the way I want it to work. But the nice thing about a Zen product is
it's interchangeable.
that, and I mean, the button's a screw. If I want to go get another screw, I can go get another screw. I can go replace any one of these parts fairly easily at a hardware store. They're all simple parts that you can find at a hardware store. It's all surgical grade stainless steel tubes, which I'm not saying that, there's not a lot of money for a decent mod in aluminum, but at $200 or $240 for surgical grade stainless steel or $250 for aluminum, I'm going with surgical grade stainless steel. That's just me.
Value for money.
I'm going to go with the better metal. I'm going to go with the metal that I know is going to last. Aluminum's kind of soft. Stainless steel's not.
Mm-hmm. And like the thing, I think we should go into a final wrap up here because I think we covered everything really as much as best we could.
Well, we base covered everything, and this isn't an in-depth on every single device. This is more just an overview of the entire system.
If you would like to see an in-depth, let us know in the comments. I mean, we could try to shoot an in-depth on each individual
we can pick
device.
up whatever device you're interested in. If you want to know more about the Cardo tank, we can do one on the Cardo tank. I know a lot of people are interested in the Cardo tank. If you want to know more about the Sidewinder, let us know. If you want to know more about the 510, but I mean the 510 is just a 510. But whatever it is that you want to know, if you want to know more, let us know. But closing thoughts, we go through this whole thing and we list all these bads, and it's bad, and it's bad, and it's bad, and it's bad, and there's this quirk, and there's this quirk, and there's this quirk. But I'll tell you something. I love them.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. I just think they're great. Because once you get them where you want them, they're great.
They'll perform in way they're going to perform.
And they're different. The Sidewinder is different. The Cardo tank is different. I have 3 all-day vapes. I have my K-Fun, I have my Bogger box, which is a bottom-fed box mod, and I have my Zenesis Cardo tank. Those are my 3 all-day vapes. Those are the 3 things that I consider so good, the 3 tanks that I can't choose between them. Because I think they're just that good of tanks. And that Zen Cardo tank is just that good of a tank.
Yeah.
I could have just that in the system and be pretty happy, especially on a kick Sidewinder.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is everyone's interested in them because they don't understand. But the way that it's designed, like, we've thrown the Bogegate Cardos where they kind of give you that turkey bacon taste into them, and
you don't have turkey bacon.
Yeah, they just work, and then, it's kind of hard to describe. I mean, it's just the design. I mean, typical tanks, you have to worry about them leaking if you pull the Cardo out wrong, or like
you can flood the Cardo, and Zen has a video where he shows you how to fill and put the top cap on. Mm-hmm. Because if you put the top cap on wrong, it's very, very easy to flood the Cardo because it works very much like a John Boy tank in the sense of the whole top cap comes off. But still, just I have a lot of mods, and I've tried a lot of mods, and I have a lot of mods coming. And if I could only pick one set of mods, in all seriousness, I would keep my Zen stuff. Because despite all the quirks, despite any of the problems, despite any of that, it's different. He's really trying to change things, and I'm really hoping that he does. And man, when you get them working, there's just something special about them. What do you got? What do you think?
Well, I mean, since I don't own them, sadly, because I missed the launch day sale, and I, typical vape budget, hands.
You use them quite a bit, though.
I've used Sean's quite a bit. I mean, I love the fact that they're stainless steel. I love the fact that you can pretty much hit them with a tank, and they're gonna work. The simplicity of a mechanical mod, you can't really beat the simplicity of a mechanical mod. You don't have to worry about them if they fall a couple feet and they hit something. They're not going to shatter. They're not going to depending.
Yeah.
I love how rugged they can be. Yes, they have their quirks, but I've always been the way of battery rattle. Okay, I understand that handmade devices can have their quirks, but a lot of people are like, wow, $200, $250. for a device that's not going to work absolutely perfectly out of the box. I mean, yeah, I understand where people are coming from.
And that's a valid opinion.
Yeah.
That's a valid thought, because when I first got the Sidewinder, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when I switched to screws, I wasn't mad anymore. I wanted to be mad.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a review, and I wanted to blast the thing to hell. But then I vaped it.
But, you know,
I said, you know what? I like it.
Yeah, you know, yeah, out of the box they can't have their issues. You know, people can be upset by battery rattle, but it's a design. It's part of the design to keep the battery from arcing, keep the battery from rubbing on the contacts constantly, wearing them out. It's understandable. Yes, people can be upset about it. That's you. I mean, I understand why things are done, and I have no problem if I'm investing my money in a $200 mod. I don't want it to be so super high end that nobody else has it. I can care less about that.
No, you want to be able to get parts.
I want to be able to say one day I accidentally drop it and it rolls out of my truck and I somehow break the switch. I want to be able to go out and find another switch for that device. The Cardo tank, it's amazing, and I love Cardo tanks. That's how typically my all day vapes are Cardo tanks. The taste is spectacular. I mean, it's just what he's doing is he's making that high end market that's been unreachable by so many people for so long available to everybody, and that I really commend him for. I mean, I'm not a huge fan
and he's doing that while trying to change things.
Yeah.
While trying to improve upon the standard instead of just slapping a number on it.
Yeah.
And I know that this is probably going to be unpopular because we bash numbered mods a lot. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's an unpopular opinion depending on your circle. But I honestly feel like he's doing what he can to change things rather than just slap a number on something.
And go with the status quo. The Z2 threading, it is going to... Hopefully, I hope it catches on, because it is sturdy. You don't have to worry about it rolling off the table. And like the Pro Tank, the Pro Tank, people have had issues with it falling a foot out of your hand and the thread snapping off into the 510 because
that's
there's
almost any 510 connector.
Well, I mean, depends on the material it's made of. But you don't have to worry about with the threading breaking off into your connector, because it is legitimate. The threading is legitimately part of your device.
Because that's your threading. And
there's support for the device, and it's just there's so much more stability there, and it just feels rugged. And that's the thing is I don't have a problem. Yes, don't get me wrong. If you're a high-end mod guy who chases the low-numbered devices, if that's what you like to do, I don't have a problem with
Everybody vapes different.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I would love a GU. Sure, I would love, Cavella. Whatever. Caravella, there it is. But, sure, I would love them because they are good devices. But, with my budget, I can't see spending that kind of money. Sure, I'll spend $200 on the Cardo tank system. We get the 650 tube, the Cardo tank, and a bottom switch, and I could be happy for $200 instead of spending $200 on the mod tube itself and not having anything. It just.
Well, and then you go, hey, I want the Genesis. Okay. Hey, I want Steam Monkey's dripper.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'd like another switch or a different body tube.
Yeah. Oh, I could buy this body tube for a couple bucks, like $40 or $50, whatever it is, and then I can interchange my parts. I have, interchangeability.
I feel like 18350 mode. I feel like 18650 mode.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of mods come with 18350 and 18650 mode.
And a lot of high-end mods do have interchangeability by chance.
I feel like having a Z2 spec Cardo tank that's different than every other Cardo tank. Oh, now I feel like my Z2 spec Zenesis atomizer. Oh, now I feel like my Z2 spec dripper. Yeah. They work better. The threads are stronger.
And you just feel like it's sturdy in your hands. Mm-hmm. It feels more like a true hybrid where it's just one solid piece, but it's actually interchangeable.
On that note,
I
think we're going to end this video. I think we covered the general overview of the system.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a fanboy. If you're interested in it, if you have any questions about it, let me know.
And we will try to do videos of each individual part.
If requested, I'm not going to go out of my way unless people want to see it.
Yeah.
The Cardo tank's probably going to be the one that's most likely want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But stay happy, stay strong, keep your vape budget hands in mind.
Yep.
But keep on vaping.
But keep those yummy good
keep
goods.
Keep up with the yummy good goods.
Yeah, buddy. All right, have a good one.